You've got 24 hours to leave. The words stung as they hit my ears, sharp like the click of a ruler across a desk. A woman in her 50s, her red nails like claws, jabbed an official-looking Evict notice at me with a kind of glee I hadn't expected. She wasn't just rude. She was smug. HOA policy, she said. You're trespassing. I couldn't help it. My eyes narrowed as I looked down at the paper, her official-looking paper. Trespassing? I stared at her in disbelief. This was my land. My great-grandfather had bled on this soil, building the fences by hand. And now she was telling me I didn't belong here? My great-grandmother was born in the little cottage up on the hill, and my dad taught me how to shoot, ride, and live with this land. And this lady, this stranger with her pearls and clipboard, was calling me a trespasser? I didn't say a word, but inside, I was boiling. You could feel it in the air. I looked at her, and back at the old windmill clanging in the breeze. The one my father worked on as a boy. The one that still pumped water when her fancy neighborhood was nothing but a cow pasture. You don't mess with that kind of history. So, I just gave her a tight smile. I told her I wasn't going anywhere. But, and I said this with calm finality, when this blows up, don't say I didn't warn you. I could feel it in my gut. The fight was just beginning. Now, before we dive deeper into this crazy story, I want to take a second and ask, where are you watching from? Drop a comment below and let me know. This one's gonna be a wild ride, and yeah, it's 100 fan tram real. Let me take you back and show you how it all started. My name is Jack Thompson. I'm 43, born and raised in Missouri. After years of working with the government, I came back to the Thompson Ranch for 50 acres of pure, unspoiled land just outside Willow Creek. I didn't need a mansion or some fancy car. I drove an old Ford and wore denim most days. Folks around here knew me as Quiet Jack, the guy who helped out at the co-op, fixed fences, and volunteered with the 4-H kids. I'd been back at the ranch for 2 years, ever since my father passed away. It was bittersweet, but I poured my heart into restoring everything, rebuilding the barn, planting fruit trees, restocking cattle. This was home. It felt right. But then, the newcomers came. They built Willow Meadows, a shiny new development just a mile down the road. Nice new homes, all the same YNYL siding, satellite dishes, and 6-foot fences. And of course, the HOA came with them like a storm cloud following a summer rain. At first, they were polite. A couple of board members stopped by, brought banana bread, and asked if I'd consider joining their HOA. I laughed. I told them, no offense, but I was here before the sidewalks were even laid down. They smiled too wide, and I thought that was the last of them. But I was wrong. Then I met her. Judith Carlton, the HOA president. Tall, bony, with a blonde bob that screamed power, like she thought she was the mayor of the neighborhood. She came by one afternoon, pushing her little dog in a stroller, and asked if I'd mind removing my windmill. She said it was an eyesore. I looked her dead in the eye, didn't even blink, and told her that windmill pumped water when your neighborhood was still a cow pasture. That was the first spark. Things got weird after that. Trash from her neighborhood started ending up on my land. One day, I found a note tied to my goat, calling me an embarrassment to the community. I didn't react, though. That's how you make bullies louder. You stay silent. Then came the fines. One morning, I found an envelope in my mailbox. It was from the Willow Meadows HOA, and it said I was in violation of neighborhood aesthetic policies for having livestock near their homes. I laughed when I read it. There were no such policies that applied to me, wasn't even in their neighborhood. But they wouldn't let it go. The next week, I woke up to find construction equipment near the northern fence. Turns out, the HOA was redefining their boundaries to include part of my ranch. They even put up plastic flags on my land like they owned it. I walked out, boots crunching over gravel, and asked the crew to leave. They hesitated until I showed them my badge. Not my ranch badge, my SAW federal SAW badge. Agent Thompson, Bureau of Land Management, I said. They left in less than 10 minutes. But I didn't report them yet. I still wanted to give them a chance. I believe in letting people cool down before you hit them with the hard truth. Sometimes, power makes people act crazy. If you give them a little grace, they might calm down. That was, until they tried to evict me. 2 days later, I found a massive evict notice pinned to my gate, stapled with industrial staples, marked in big, red letters, notice to vacate trespasser on private land. It was signed by Judith Carlton. I called the number listed, and she picked up. Don't worry, Jack, she said. We've given you a fair warning. We're filing with the county today. You can fight it if you want, but it's already in the works. That was it. They had no idea what they were dealing with. They didn't check the records. They didn't see the federal grants. They didn't know I was saw paperwork. But I kept quiet. I wanted to see just how far they'd go. A week passed. Then, one day, I got a visit from Frank, the old man who ran the local feed store. He looked nervous. "Jack," he said, "you didn't hear it from me, but Judith's been talking at the council meetings. She's going to turn your ranch into a community equestrian park." I blinked. "You sure?" He nodded. "She's got investors. One flew in from Texas last weekend." That's when it hit me. It wasn't about windmills or goats. This was about money. My land had natural springs, and that water was worth a fortune, especially in a dry Missouri summer. Developers had caught wind of it. Judith was probably promised a hefty bonus if she could clear the land and make way for new developments. It was time to go to war. So, I started gathering everything: deeds, maps, satellite images, and official reports from the Bureau of Land Management. I even paid a visit to the sheriff, an old hunting buddy. "Jack," he said, "I'm staying out of it, but if they trespass again, you've got my blessing to document everything." I thanked him and set up cameras, real cameras. Not the cheap stuff. I used federal-grade wildlife cameras, night vision, motion-activated, satellite-linked. And sure enough, 4 nights later, I caught them, Judith and 2 HOA board members, trespassing onto my land with measuring wheels and clipboards. That was it. I printed everything. Photos, maps, timestamps. Then the next morning, Judith and her legal team showed up again, trying to serve me with official papers. She opened up a folder like she was on some courtroom drama show. "Mr. Thompson," she said, while VYing the papers, "these are the formal EVY tie-in proceedings, filed with the county clerk. You're hereby ordered to vacate the premises by noon tomorrow." I didn't flinch. I simply smiled. "This isn't even legal," I said quietly. "You filed these papers on land you don't own. And that parcel number?" I pointed to it. "It belongs to the U.S. Department of the Interior." Judith's face drained of color, but she recovered quickly. "We've spoken with the Planning Commission. They assured us. Planning commissions don't overrule federal land rights." I cut her off. Still, I didn't reveal my badge. Not yet. I wanted them to climb higher. Every step they took, every lie they told, was just tightening the rope around their necks. Later that night, I made a call. "Agent Lell," I said, "I've got a problem. It's bigger than I thought." I explained everything. The HOA trying to annex my land, shady investors involved, fake documents. Lell went quiet for a moment. "You think they know it's federal land?" he asked. "No," I said. "They think they're bullying some hillbilly rancher." He laughed. "They picked the wrong cowboy." A week later, things escalated. I saw a huge sign go up at the entrance to Willow Meadows. "Coming soon. Willow Meadows Nature Preserve, public equestrian trails, and lake access." My blood went cold. They were already marketing my land. The next morning, I heard trucks outside again. This time, I didn't wait to confront them. I grabbed my camera, slipped outside, and watched from the shadows. I saw them burying pipes, laying groundwork, trying to run water lines from my springs. They were serious now. They had crossed the line. I called Agent Lell, sent him the footage, and by the time the sun came up, I was ready to expose them. But they weren't done. I wasn't done either. What happened next? Well, let's just say the fight was about to go to the highest level. And that's where you come in. What do you think? Was it right for them to try to take what wasn't theirs? Was I justified? I want to hear what you think. Leave your thoughts in the comments below.